What's up, you guys? Ross Sapp, Fightful.com, here with a name you know, and you should have known her from Fightful about, I don't know, 9-10 months ago, but then things happened in the world, and I didn't get to interview her here in the United States, but better late than never, right? It's Shazza McKenzie. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Hello, universe.
I'm doing awesome. We're using your phone data here. How are we racking
That's
up
all
your
right.
bill?
I've like switched to prepaid because
Ooh.
I was like when I was constantly traveling overseas, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll just turn my roaming on for 5 minutes while I need to like order this Uber or whatever. And then it got a bit out of control. And so then we decided I wasn't responsible enough to have
Phone.
proper proper phone data. So once my contract ended, I just switched to prepaid.
You're gonna end up with one of those phones that only calls and accepts calls, like the parent phones that
Yeah,
they have there.
yeah.
You
That's
got
what my husband will end up giving
you got to
me.
be safe about it. In this economy, you have to be safe about it, right?
Yeah, it was getting out of control. Like I'd come back with like $300-400 bills, and I'd be like, "Ooh, that's wrong. Like, that's my bad." But like I couldn't be angry at anyone. I was like, "Well, I did this. Like
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing. Like I'm an adult." But oh, my laundry's finished, guys. If you can hear that nice little
Well, we
ringtone in the
also
back.
Fightful Select exclusive. Shazza has clean clothes.
Well, I have wet clothes that are clean.
Okay, so we'll see. They're not wearable as of yet, but
Yeah.
we were supposed to talk last year. I think it was WrestleMania weekend, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And I remember like it was like seeing it in real time. You're like, what is gonna happen to me? Like, am I gonna get stuck in this country or that country? You knew you were getting stuck somewhere, whether it be there or in the
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah. I mean, I think it worked out better being stuck here.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
for
like,
sure.
well, like, depends. Like, career wise, not the greatest, but like, general well being and health,
Yeah.
probably better.
You being alive, it's way better that you're there than here. I mean, I do
Yeah.
have plenty of friends out that way, and like when I see them going to like circuses and stuff, I'm getting mad about it because you all used common sense.
Yeah. I mean, we just went, well, we kind of don't want to kill ourselves or other people. So let's just do what the government's telling. I mean, there's still people that are like, no, the government is trying to control us. We cannot listen to them. But like, that is what it is. And those people are everywhere.
That's all it took. That's all it took for you all to man. Little,
I
little. If
know.
we would have only followed that formula, maybe we would have wrestling events here now. But you did have a lot of stuff planned for that time. Like, how did that affect things for you?
I mean, like, it feels like a lifetime ago now. Like, it's so strange that, like, I went through that, like, that a year ago, because, like, by this time last year, I would have had majority of that trip sort of booked and, like, scheduled. And so a year ago, I was, like, planning, I was, like, like tunnel vision, like, I'm going to America and I'm going to wrestle, like, a million shows and, like, I'm going to be the fucking best wrestler in the world and I'm going to take over the world, all these things. And like, that's so far from what I can even think about now, which is so like confusing. And like the whole thing was like, it took a while to like deal with it. Like it was very much like, because like I went over and the world ended while I was on the plane, which was great. Loved that. But like also that was when they first put in like the 2 week like the 2 week quarantine. So I was
Yes.
like there, and it's like if I go home and then in 2 weeks everything just goes back to normal,
Yeah.
and I miss out on like the other 20-30 bookings that I had, like what have I done?
Because
Like,
we had no idea at that point. We had no clue what this is going to be.
yeah, exactly. Like, and
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be fine. Like, oh no, don't cut out.
Oh, no. It's that phone data. It's that prepaid. It's that parent phone
No.
she's got now. I'm leaving this in.
Oh no.
I'm exposing Shazza McKenzie for having wet clothes and bad data. This is what's going to happen.
It'll be good, like, because I'll use this to plug my Patreon. I'll be like, give me money because I have I use prepaid phone.
I've already got your Patreon
clothes
link.
Are always wet.
I've got your Patreon link below you right now. I was on top of that. I went and laid it in
Love
there.
It.
Now, see, none of this would have happened if you had been able to sign with WCW 2021.
I would have had millions of dollars.
Would have had millions.
Like,
yeah.
Literally millions of dollars. I would have been like, I wouldn't have cared if I used all my phone data. I would be like, sign me up for another plan. I'll use another $100,000 of phone data on roaming. I'll just use roaming when I don't need to. I'll just like turn my phone into a like South African phone so it's constantly roaming even when I'm in Australia. Like, that's what I'll do.
Have you had any of these like fake promotions hit you up? Because there's been a few. Like, I've seen they'll like advertise certain like high level indie wrestlers. They'll be like, this person's gonna be here in California in September, but they're not, and everybody knows they're not. Like, they've just been signed by AEW type of stuff.
Yeah, there was this guy. Was it Alex Mack or something? That was like, yes. I don't know. He was trying to book me for some, like, I think he ended up booking me for a show this time around in the tour that I was doing that I was totally convinced wasn't going to happen, even without a pandemic. But then he paid me money, like he sent me money, and then like I was talking to the promoter, and the promoter's like, yeah, it's actually going to happen. I was like, I don't think this is actually going to happen, mate, because I've dealt with this man before, and like it's real fun to just be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it, because I know that like nothing's going to come of it, and then if something better comes along, I'll just do, like, I had a backup plan already that like for that day. I was like planning for that day to not actually happen, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably do this other thing instead that day. Because he'd advertised me, like, what was it? It was like, what was it? He had something 01 USA. That was his thing, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And he was like, he advertised me for that at some point. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And it's all gibberish like, and whatever happens. I was like, he's either going to fly me to America or he's not going to fly to me America. Either way, I don't really lose it. I don't lose anything. I either get a free flight to America or I don't. So
we've talked a lot about you not wrestling. You are, in fact, a wrestler, and a pretty good one. You have worked for real companies in the past as well. NXT, you did a couple spots there with a fellow Australian in Tennille Dashwood. How did that first appearance come about? Like, who hit you up about that?
Okay, so that was like the most random, like just panic mode ever of my life. So at the time I was over for one of my shimmer trips, and when I do shimmer trips, I go to Florida, and we stay with Lexi Fife and we shoot customs because that also makes us money, and we like money. Sure. There's nothing wrong with that. And so it was 2015. So the Iconics had just been signed. And I think it was the first time we'd been over to the US since they'd gone signed. So we were always planning on, like, me and the group of people that were there, we were always planning on going to that TV taping because we wanted to watch their first, the first time that we could see them live wrestling at NXT. Like, that's really cool. So we were always planning on going. And then, so the day before the taping, we did like a custom shoot, and then we were going to go to Halloween Horror Nights that night. And then the next day we were just going to, I don't know, shop in the morning and then go to the TV taping at night and see our friends and be like, cool. So then we did the like taping, did our customs. And then Madison Eagles, like, while I was like getting changed, she's like, Lexi needs to talk to you. And I was like, fuck, like, because I swear a lot, literally because I swear a lot. She'd been getting really angry at me because I'd been swearing a lot in front of her very young daughter at the time. And swearing isn't as welcomed in America as it is here. So I was like, she's calling in to have a talk to me, how she's going to like dock my pay because I kept swearing. And then anyway, so she pulls me into her room and she's like, okay, so they want you there at 1 p.m. tomorrow. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, they want you at Full Sail at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And I was like, who wants me at tomorrow at 1 p.m.? What are you talking about? She's like, yeah, they want you, Evie, and Kaylee Ray 1 p.m. tomorrow. And I was like, cool. And she's like, so what do you have to wear? I was like, nothing. What are you talking about? Like, I haven't, what? Like, I'm on holiday. I'm like half on holidays. I'm just here hanging out. What do you like? I was like, I don't know. I think I have a black dress somewhere and maybe some shoes. And then she's like, okay, well, do you have any jewelry? I was like, no, I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear makeup and jewelry. Like, I'm not a girl. Like, so she like opened up her wardrobe and she like went through all her like jackets and jewelry and stuff. And she was like, okay, we can put this with this and this and this. And I was like, cool. And then and I was like, are we still going to Halloween Horror Nights? She's like, yep, we're still going to Halloween Horror Nights in like an hour. And I was like, what do you mean? And so we went to Halloween Horror Nights and we didn't get home till like 3 a.m. because we're like, Lexi is in Tampa, not in Orlando.
Yeah.
So we get home at like 3 a.m. and then I'm like, well, I've got a tan. So I'm tanning at 3 a.m. and then I have to get up at like freaking, I don't know, like I have to be out the door at like 9 a.m. or something to get to Full Sail by 1 p.m. Still, me, Kaylee, and Evie have no idea, like, what is going on? Just this whole car ride there. We're like, what? Like, is this a rib? Like, do you mean? What's happening? And then I got there and then like, just saying hi to everyone, blah, blah, blah. And like, luckily at this time, there was a lot of like independent girls there and also a lot of Australians because the Iconics were there and Tennille was there, obviously. So like, I actually had like my best friends there. So I was a lot more at ease once I was there because I was like, oh, Jess and Cass good. And then I saw Tennille and she's like, yeah, I think it's you and me tonight. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I think they said like that you guys were coming and I asked if I could wrestle you because like, you know, you were my last match before I came here and I thought that would be a really cool story. And I was like, okay, what? And then it just all happened. Like it just happened really fast, all of it. Like, and then it was over and I was like, I don't know what just happened. And then I just went to Wawa because I was like, we were driving back and I was like, there's a fucking Wawa to make today the best day of my life. I need to have Wawa as well. So there's like this photo of me just drinking like a Wawa shake and with my Wawa hoagie and I still have my full like WWE makeup on and I'm in my dress, but I look like a mess and I'm just like, this is the best moment of my life. And that sums it up.
I hope that Lexi Fife's young daughter was around when you said there's a fucking Wawa as well. Like that would have been.
She probably like, bro, I swear so much in front. Like it's swearing's not like swearing's not loved in Australia by like the older folk. Yeah. But like my generation, like we just swear. Like words that you guys find offensive, I will just say nonstop, and I have to stop myself from saying them a lot. When I like the C word, very commonly used.
Yes,
comes out of my mouth a lot. And I have to be very careful about that.
It's one of the more reviled words here. Like if you say that, you'll get audible gasps.
Yes, I know. I'm aware because I've said it.
So your second, well, first off, what kind of feedback did you get there? Like, did anybody come up to you and they're like, "Hey, we like what you did. Hey, is that really your gear?" Did anybody say anything to you?
Del Rey was the agent and like, so I was like, oh, like, you know, is that like fine? Like, what did you want? And she was like, yep, that's fine. Like, you did, like, no what, like, everything there is very like, I don't know. You don't know what's happening. I just shook hands with as many people as I could and like smiled and did what like, but I wasn't meant like at that point, like 2015, this is before they did their big like indie girl hiring. Yes. Like this is before the Kimberlys and the Heidi Lovelaces and everything like that. So at that point, I really at no point in my career thought I was going to be a signed wrestler. Like it was just not even a consideration of mine. Like at no point had I been like, you know, one day I'm going to make it to WWE. It just wasn't even on my thought. I was like, well, I'm not a model and I'm never going to be a model. And I knew like, obviously that Australian girls had been signed, but like Jess and Cass and Tennille, like they were very, like they knew what they had to look like and they went and they made themselves look like that in the, like, they didn't do anything drastic to themselves, but like they put in the work and they worked out and they made sure that they looked like superstars. And I just at that point had never, like, I was just like, I'm just happy wrestling. Like I get to wrestle for Shimmer. That's pretty cool. Like you know, I get to wrestle with my friends. I get to travel the world. Like I'm pretty happy. But then once I had that, like that taste Like that. I think here's like the thing that always, I think, set it off for me was Taz had, I don't know if he still has a podcast, but he had a podcast at the time, and he would review NXT, and he was reviewing my match. And he said that I did something, and he was like, well, that was stupid, like, because I think I did the splits. Like, why would you do the splits? You can see she coming at you, and then she dropped you, whatever. But like, what I took away from that was that he said like, oh, this is your debut. Like, why would you do something that makes you look a bit silly? And I was like, he thinks I work there. Like, he doesn't think I look completely out of place.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I can do this.
You took it as more of a positive than a negative.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't look like, it wasn't like very obvious that I was just some random indie talent. Like, he didn't, like, that wasn't even a thought in his brain. And so I was like, maybe if I like try, I can do this. And so then I started trying like 5 years ago.
Please tell me the second time you came in was just as interesting as the first.
No, the second time was a bit like, the second time was a bit more of, because once I turned into, I think I can do this, I turned into like hustle mode Shaz.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, Mr. Canyon Seaman, here's all my tapes every single like 3 months. Hey, where's this tryout? Hey, can I come? Oh, I'm in town. Can I do this? Hey, do you want us to have a chat? Like, I was very like, g'day, mate. I'm here. Like, let's have some chats. I'll show you what I can do. So it was a bit more organized with that. But the second time I did was after WrestleMania weekend, the 2018 WrestleMania weekend, New Orleans. And I got horrifically sick, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people got horrifically sick at WrestleMania weekend. And I specifically, I've never been that sick in my life. Like, I missed WrestleMania because I had tickets to WrestleMania, and I was like, I physically could not leave the house.
The WrestleMania flu, people get it every year.
Yeah, but this was the worst one I've ever felt in my life. And I specifically got it I didn't get it during Ring of Honor, but I remember because one of the real things that I wanted to go to was I wanted to go to Ring of Honor, what do they have? I don't know what it's called. It's not, is it Supercard of Honor? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? Whatever their WrestleMania one is.
Okay, yeah. Supercard of Honor. Yeah,
see, I knew. But it was the big Cody Kenny match. It was finally Cody Kenny. It was Bullet Club is fine. Bullet Club is fine. Yes. And I remember specifically being in the crowd and just feeling my fever start during this match. And I was like, oh, this is the end of my life. I am not okay. And this is the match that I have been the most hyped for in my entire life. And I was, because I'm such a mark. And it just is what it is. That's fine. I don't care. I just love wrestling. And I was so hyped. And then I just was horrifically sick. And then I was literally in bed for 3 days from that. So that was Saturday night. And then I was sick all of Sunday. I was in bed. And then on Monday we drove to Florida. So I was in the car sick. And then I made everyone else sick.
Oh no!
But then, I made everyone because I'm traveling in a group of Australians, and we all just got horrifically sick. But they were all sick for Shimmer weekend, which was the next weekend. I got better by Shimmer weekend, but I was horrifically sick, and I think so on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday I was out of bed, okay, and then Wednesday I was at the tape, and I just remember being I haven't eaten or done, but I was really skinny because I hadn't eaten, so that was good. I was I haven't eaten for 3 days.
You've got a full podcast and just talking about the shit that happened before you did certain like your televised stuff. Did you get hit by a car before All Out? What happened there?
Oh,
did anything
do you want
happen?
to know my All Out story?
I want to, yes. While we're on a roll, I was there.
My All Out story is more this is just my life of roller coasters. So, okay, All Out 2019. So I met Brandy and Cody in November 2018. They came down to Australia and they were doing a tour, and I wrestled Brandy. And this was before they'd announced AEW. I wrestle Brandy. After the match, she pulls me aside and she goes, look, you've probably heard some rumors. They're true. And I said, fuck.
And
it's happening, guys.
And then she said, happening. WCW, we're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back. But yeah, so she's like, oh, you know, so this is like true. And like, I definitely want you to be a part of it in some way. And all this stuff, like, you know, so like keep in contact, blah, 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 like come to Vegas and we'll chat more in Vegas. Cause I was already going to be in America at that time, like when Vegas was happening. And then I ended up getting booked at StarCast and everything. So I was in Vegas anyway.
Yeah.
And I went to Double or Nothing and I have my Double or Nothing. This is real lame Shaz stuff. I have my Double or Nothing ticket in my wallet every day so that it's like a reminder because like that's the goal. Like AEW always be the goal. You've frozen, so I don't know if you're hearing this story.
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah, okay, I was like, you frozen. I was like, this is, I'm pouring my heart out here, and you've frozen on me. So like I have my ticket, but anyway, I digress. So I kept in contact with Brandy and everyone like that. Throughout the time, she'd always told me that they were doing like a battle royale at All Out. Like she told me like that's probably what we're looking at, you know, doing. So then about a month before it, I guess I followed up, or maybe she just messaged me out of the blue and she was like, look, like, unfortunately, like with visas and everything, like we're not going to be able to use you. And it's just not going to go ahead at this point in time. So this is about a month out of All Out. So then I went into a deep depression, you know, ate my body weight worth of everything I could find because I'd spent, you know, like the past 7-8 months being like, I'm fucking making it, guys. This is it. Let's go. And then I was just like, oh, I hate my life. And so then I was miserable for like 2 weeks. And then one morning I just woke up and I had a text message and she said, hey, are you still free on August 31st? And I said, yes. Like, yes, I am.
No, Brandy Rhodes. I am in fact busy on that day. Goodbye.
I have my job, but that's okay. I will tell them goodbye because this is more important. But yeah, and then like 2 weeks, I had 2 weeks notice and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't know, like panic. Like it was such a like roller coaster of life. But that's wrestling. Wrestling is a fucking roller coaster. I don't like it's just people don't talk about how much of a like you go from these super highs to these like you just fucking crash. And then you have to go up again and it's just hard, man. And that's why we're all emotionally and mentally unstable.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like normally I'd be like, let's save whatever led to her being booked on AEW Dark for another show. But some turd podcaster will hear this and they'll be like, no, I want the story. Please explain to me how you got booked for AEW Dark.
Okay, so AEW Dark, again, completely different. Like AEW Dark, much less overwhelming. That was, I had Shimmer and I was like booked for Shimmer and I was booked for StarCast. So I had like a week in between that I was just in America because I just, you know, I just fly to America and I do whatever I have to do and I just hang out, you know? Not really. I just try to be in as many places
Nydia
as
told
I
me
have
she
to be.
did that. After she left WWE, Nydia was like, I only took bookings in like Italy and places I wanted to vacation. And she would
smart.
Just stay there.
She came to Australia. She came to Australia for one of it. I was there. I watched her versus Gail Kim. It was fucking 2014 World Series Wrestling International Assault Tour.
Wow.
And then I wrestled on the International Assault Tour when it returned, and it was this big full circle thing because I was in the front row of when Nydia and Gail Kim and everyone wrestled, and that was the day that I touched Bully Ray's fucking armpit, and I just remember that. And, like I put my arm out and he just jumped on all the people in the corner and I was like, my arm is in your armpit, sir. But it is what it is.
That's horrible.
My life is strange.
That's horrible. Did you go to therapy for that?
No, like, I mean, I think I like refused to wash my hands
She's
for like
fine,
2 days.
Guys. She's okay. Sign her. Sign her. She's completely fine.
I'm fine.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
AEW Dark. Yeah, AEW Dark.
So I was going to America, and I think I literally I messaged Brandy, and I was like, oh, hey, like, I'm going to be in America from this date to this date. If you guys have any work or anything. And she was like, let me message Tony. And then like 20 minutes later, she's like, yep, so this date. And I was like, what? Like, she's like, yeah, CD will send you all the information, just, it's fine. And I was like, what? Why was this so easy? Like, what? And then, and then that happened. And then, I just stay in contact, I guess, for whenever the world decides to stop ending.
Yeah.
Which, it is what it is.
It's really hard to follow up past that, because I'm sure that like maybe something could have happened in 2020 based on how everything went there, but we don't know now. Like, have you been in contact with them like at all since then? Because I mean, there's not really much they can do, but contact.
Like not since the pandemic.
Yeah.
When I was going to America, when I was going to be in America for 2 months, there was communication and places and things like that. There was, the door wasn't shut. They weren't like, please leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a creep. They were like, yeah, okay, cool. So I don't know. Like, I can't like obsess over it or like be like, this is what I need to do, or this is what I want to do, or like, because it's just so like, it's probably like, I'm probably not going to be able to leave the country this year. I don't think, like, the way things are going, like, even if there's a vaccine, I don't think it's going to, I mean, there is a vaccine
to right now,
but like, like the world is like ending. Like it's not going, it's not something that's in the foreseeable future.
Sure.
So it's not something I'm going to, if I worry about it, I'll just get really depressed and hate life. So, because I'll be like, oh, but I'm not like famous on TV. So I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'll just be happy for all the people that are famous on TV, and I'll just watch all the wrestling, and I'll remember why I liked wrestling and why I decided I wanted to be a wrestler was because I liked watching wrestling. So I'm just going to enjoy doing that. And then, I mean, I still wrestle here. It's very different. Very different, but it is what it is. Like, I still get to go to training every week, twice a week or once a week. Wrestling is still such a huge part of my life. Like, even when I'm not traveling. So, and like my husband's a wrestler. Like, so it's just like, it's my life. My friendships all my friends are wrestlers. Like, it's my social circle. It's my life, but I just don't travel at the moment. And I just can't worry about the world and the future and all that stuff. And I don't know why I'm waving my hands around. So this is for all the people watching the video.
Well, I mean, like, we legitimately did tentatively plan something for WrestleMania week. I was going to do a bunch of in-person interviews, and then probably like 3 weeks out, I was like, they had booked a show for me to host, and I was like, I ain't fucking doing it. I was like, I'm not doing it. This is like not with the way that these things are. And I was like, oh, you know what? Well, I'll talk to her in a few months. I'm sure I'll talk to her in the summer at some point. And then I was like, oh, well, by the fall or the winter. And now it's like, well, you know what? I better schedule that Shazza McKenzie interview because I don't know when the world's going to be normal again.
Yeah, when I flew back, I remember because my flights got all fucked up. So I had like a flight credit, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just book flights for like SummerSlam weekend. Like, I'm sure everything will be fine by SummerSlam weekend. Like, I'll just come over then and see what happens. Like, then I'm not wasting these flight credits or whatever. I'm very glad I didn't do that because the world still continued to end. But like at the time, I was like, well, August, we'll be fine by then. Like, why wouldn't we be?
I got my wife's $600 worth of concert tickets, and of course they don't let you just have the money back. They're like, oh no, it's postponed. It's postponed.
Yeah, it's not canceled.
Yes. Like it's the Olympics or something, and they feel like they gotta do it. They just can't cancel it or anything. Oh my gosh, there's so much to talk to you about, but we'll save a lot of that for another time because I do on this what's the opposite of shooting hard. I ask people to shoot softly and say nice things about people in wrestling. So I hope that you don't secretly hate any of these people.
What if I don't have any nice things to say about them?
Well, the first one's AJ Gray.
So I don't have anything nice to say about him.
Come on.
No, AJ is a very entertaining wrestler, and I was very much looking for. He was going to kill me. Let's be honest.
Yes, he
was.
was.
Like he was like legit. Like shoot. Like when this pandemic happened, I was like, maybe I like made this pandemic happen because I realized that I was going to die. So I subconsciously destroyed the world to prevent myself from being beat the shit out of by AJ Gray.
He struck me during an interview. I mean, like
what?
A light tap, but still.
but I imagine a light tap by him is still not ideal.
He's a tough guy. Okay, how about a person you've worked with in the past? She's also not been able to make it into the States lately. Riho.
Oh, she is just an angel. I got to travel in Singapore. We did a tour in Singapore together because random life. And we spent a whole day sightseeing in Singapore, and no one could speak anyone's language. And it was just it was so much fun. Because it was just a nice little adventure. And she's also just the most amazing wrestler in the world. Tiniest human, most amazing wrestler in the world.
A girl that we have seen on AEW a lot lately that you've worked with, Layla Hirsch.
She is I am so glad that she is getting her what is it, getting her roses? Is that what people say? I don't know what it works.
It works.
But getting her
educate the people. Expand their vocabulary. I like it.
Yeah. She's been doing this for so long. And I remember when I got booked against her, which would have been 2019. Yes, because now that makes sense. And I hadn't heard of her because DJ Hyde had just been harboring her in his little thing that he has, his little harboring tree. I don't know. And I was wrestling her and I was like, how is this girl just not up and down every coast doing everything? And so I'm glad that she's finally getting it all.
A person that we saw you work with a lot, Jordan Grace, she's made an impact in Impact.
That was good.
It wasn't really
it
at
was
all.
Great.
It wasn't.
I love it.
No.
That's what I live for that. No, I love Jordan. She's one of my favorite people to wrestle in the world. She's phenomenal. My first match with her, which was at Nova Pro, rest in peace, it was it was just one of my favorite matches that I've ever had, and I've had the chance to wrestle her a bunch of more times because she's come down to Australia a few times. That's not happening anytime soon, but hey, but she's good. No, I love her. I love wrestling her. I think she's hilarious.
I don't like to date my interviews because it usually takes me a couple weeks to get them out. But we saw Melina on Raw this past week. You wrestled her once upon a time.
I did. Okay, so the first time that Melina, well, it probably wasn't the first time she came to Australia. She definitely came to Australia when she was with WWE. Yeah. But she came to Australia in 2018, and we were supposed to wrestle twice. There was we were supposed to wrestle in the main event of this one random show, and then also this triple threat in this other random show because wrestling's random. And we were supposed to wrestle twice, and then she did her knee or whatever, and so she still came, and we did Mike Spotty stuff or whatever. I don't know. I was like, you're an old washed up has-been, blah, blah, blah. I'm the future, blah, gibberish crap. It is what it is. And that's when I first met her, and she's just the nicest, the sweetest person in the world. And it was really cool for me because Melina was such a I started watching wrestling in 2004. So Melina, the Mickie James, that era of WWE girls are what I watched. So meeting, and I used to go to WWE shows dressed as Melina. I used to wear a short skirt with my fluffy fucking boots, and then I'd wear a wrestling shirt. It wouldn't necessarily be an Eminem shirt, but it would be something. Because I'd be yeah, look at me, I'm the hot girl that goes to wrestling shows. I wasn't, but I thought I was. But it is. But yeah, and so then a year later, she came back to Australia and we finally got to wrestle, and it was the coolest thing ever. It was just you never get to wrestle people that you genuinely idolized as a child, especially as a female. Guys, I think, get to wrestle people that they genuinely idolized a bit more often. Not often, but it's a bit more common because the guys that were on TV continue to wrestle for a while, whereas the girls that were on TV, they don't really like.
No.
They're like they're out. Like they're like bye. Like oh, wrestling's fucked. Bye. So to get to wrestle someone that I genuinely looked up to was it's fucking cool, man.
That's
it was
why
cool.
I thought Serena was such an anomaly last year. Even though she wasn't like on TV or anything, she quit or she stopped wrestling so early that she stopped for 5 years, and they're like, oh wait, she's still young enough to have like this full-on run, and she's doing really great.
Oh my god, like when they announced her match with Thunder, like the first one, I was like, because like I've known Serena, like I've worked bloody whatchamacallit, Shimmer, like with her, like after her WWE run, but before her like mini retirement, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I knew her like a little bit, and like, you know, it's like she knew when the last time I did NXT, she was there as a trainer, and she remembered me. I was like, oh my god, she remembers me. Like she's Serena Deeb. Like, because to me, she's like Serena fucking Deeb. Like it's just and then she's just freaking on top of the world again. I'm sorry that I swear so much and use so many like filler words. It just is what it is.
I'm all for it. How about a name as we wrap up this segment that some American fans might not know, but those familiar with your career will? Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, so Alice in Wonderland, who's now Harley Wonderland. She started training, I think 3 months before me. And so then I had my first match with her, and I don't think did she wrestle last year? I think she wrestled like maybe at the start of last year, but like, I don't know, it doesn't really, like last year was I was like, I don't know, does she still wrestle? But nobody still wrestles at the moment. So I don't really know. And I think she was still, but like, she's been with me like my whole career. She lives about 2.5 hours away from me. So, but like for 10, 13, 12 years, whatever it is, I don't know, too many years. Like I've pretty much seen her on a, you know, bi-monthly at least basis for, you know, all of it. Like she was at my wedding. She was at my like 21st birthday. I think she was at my she wouldn't have been at my 18th. Was she at my? No, I was over 18 when I started training. She was not at my 18th. I didn't have an 18th. I was a loser. I was into wrestling when I was 18, and I wasn't yet a wrestler, so I was just a loser.
Wrestling. I had an 18th
like, it's not
birthday
cool,
party.
man. It's not cool when you're like a girl and you're like I was real cool like at the start of high school, and then like I decided I liked wrestling when I was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
And then I dropped out of high school and was like, I just like wrestling now. That's my only like.
People used to give me shit about it all the time, and now that they know that I'm pulling a salary and I got a contract for it, they're like, "Oh man, that's so cool. We always knew you'd be doing this." I'm like, "No, you didn't. I haven't talked to you since high school. Get out of here."
Yeah, no, I haven't talked to anyone that I went to high school with in probably a decade, but I still have like them on Facebook and stuff, and like every now and then I'll post something wrestling, and they'll be like, "Whoa, you really did it!" And
Oh no, she's frozen.
said I was going to be a wrestler, man. No!
Oh, it's okay.
No!
It's okay. We got you back. What it does is it freezes and then it speeds up really fast. My God. So, Shazza, tell the people where they can find you. Tell the people where they can support what you're doing. Of course, we have your I can't reach over into your window on my overlay, but we got your Twitter handle and your Patreon.
Yes, my Twitter and my Patreon, wherever it is, at Shazza at Shazza _McKenzie.
Yes.
For the Twitters and for the Instagrams. Then Patreon. What else do I have? I have a Big Cartel. It's currently closed at the moment because I was moving house and I was like, oh, I'm panicked.
Yeah.
So I'll probably put that back up soon. It exists. What else do I have? Pro Wrestling Tees. At /Shazza McKenzie. I have wrestler merch if you're Australian, which is the same concept as Pro Wrestling Tees, but much cheaper. And if you're Australian and ships in Australia.
Yes.
So if you're American or overseas, you use Pro Wrestling Tees. If you're Australian, use wrestler merch. I think. I have Cameo. I never use it, but you could order me a Cameo from me. Like I have a ring light, guys. I'm ready.
She didn't use it today. I used mine. You didn't use yours, but she's got one.
I was using it. I was using it in the room that didn't like me. And so then now we're out here. Well, I don't even have any lights on.
I appreciate the effort regardless. And I'm glad that we could finally make this happen. We probably need to talk again later this year, assuming things happen in the universe. But I mean, I'm just here to find out how you got booked on shows now, because that gets
I'm giving away the booking, like how to get booked information. I'll write a whole book, guys, how to get booked. Just randomly be places, and then they'll just pick you for some reason, and you won't have any idea why. And then it'll blow your mind, and then you'll be obsessed with what's wrong with you and what's right with you and everything else, and then you'll have a complex and I don't know, probably implode.
I've heard of people getting booked because the other person was asleep backstage, and they're like, "Sorry, this guy had a match. Now you got a match," type of thing. That's the
Jesus.
That's the nature of the wrestling world, guys. Check out Shazza on Twitter, on Instagram, all those places. Shazza, I want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. I don't know why I'm voguing. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Until next time, guys, we're out.